So today we're going to go over an exercise that's called the floor press technique. Some of you might be familiar with it and some of you may not be, but the floor press is a huge builder of maximal strength in the bench press for one reason: it stops you in a really weird position and it actually wants to shut off your arms. But today we're going to show you how to do it right and make sure that you don't get hurt. Okay, so the floor press is a great exercise for not only powerlifters but normal people. And there's a few reasons why. One, if you go down and touch on a floor press, if you're not a super thick person, you're gonna find that that sticking point is probably very, very similar to where you stick with free weights. It might be an inch or two off, but it's gonna be close. The next thing is that the floor press is also a great variation due to the fact that you're stopping actually on your arm. But because you stop actually on your arm means a couple of things. One, you can't bounce it off the ground. You could possibly hurt your elbow or your tricep pretty poorly. And two, the other thing that it allots is that it actually allows you to learn how to bench in a segmented position. So when you're coming down, you actually can master a shorter range of motion. So we're gonna look at this real quick. So as you can see, he's gonna take it just like a normal bench. He's gonna take it all the way down till his elbows touch, and he's gonna press it. Good. The key is I almost use it as a paused bench press. So you're actually going to stop and pause. Yep. You don't want to use it as a bouncing exercise because you're actually supporting the weight on something that is not really intended to do so. Good. Rack. Now what I like to use the floor press for is to really watch the wrist position. So a couple of key things on the floor press is I'm watching to see when he takes it out if he rolls his wrist back too far. So when he takes it out, I'm going to watch, and most people are going to roll their wrist back too far. That's what we do not want to see. We want to see it more vertical, but not crazy enough where it loses balance. So right in between that, right there. Perfect. Now, what we're going to do is we're also going to teach, we want the bar position to be out. So we want to go where we touch. Now he's going to lock his back in harder. Now we're in the position we want to be in. As you can see, go back to the normal position. His back's unlocked and the chest, the bar is actually over his chest and not beyond his chest. So we're going to pick the shoulder blades back. That allows us to be able to go farther and in a straighter line. Now he can go straight down from there. Yeah, perfect. So as you can see, that bar path is pretty linear. Okay? The key is to not roll the wrist and to pause on the ground. Rack. Good. Now the next thing, because the floor press is an exercise that is already limited range of motion unless you're a very, very thick person, is you want to train it with a narrower grip. So the average person is going to want to put their hand somewhere around the ring. Pinky on the ring, anywhere from ring or index finger on the ring. That's a pretty wide bench press, but fairly common at a normal gym. On a floor press, I like to train with the thumb bed where the smooth starts on the bar. Now this is a Texas power bar, which should be your staple bar to bench press with, used in most competitions. But I like to use the thumb bed as the marking point to how wide my hands should be. So if you see, he's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches in from the ring. The reason that we're going narrower on the floor press is because it already is a tricep exercise and we want to magnify that. But the other reason too is it's already a limited range of motion exercise. So if we go wide or too wide and we're doing a floor press, we're only going to have a very limited range of motion, similar to the board pressing that we shot a video on. So train the floor press narrower and make sure you're trying to train it with a more linear bar path position, and make sure that you're still locking in your lats when you're bench pressing. So he's going to show you again. So this is a good position to bench press from. You can see his arms are almost straight up and down. We've made the exercise a longer range of motion. His bar path is near perfectly straight. And now we're actually teaching the body how to fire from a dead stop when the tricep wants to be turned off from pressure. Good. Rack. So if you've been watching a lot of these videos for the floor press, you'll see that this is a completely different exercise than a normal bench press. You're stopping on your elbows and the back of your tricep. You're not stopping on your chest. You're laying on a ground instead of a bench press. There are some very big differences. So some big ways that we use this is you can use it for max effort work, right? We can use different kinds of bars, football bars, fat bars, normal bench press bars, but we always want to try to use a little bit of a narrower grip because we're already using a limited range of motion. So the floor press does have its place in your training protocol, but it needs to be varied just like any of the other lifts with fatter bars, different angle handles, and you can also use bands and chains on it when set up correctly. So we went over the floor press and its uses and all of that jazz. The big thing to remember is the floor press is a good variation and it's a great tool. We use it at Ludus Magnus and at Wenning Strength. We use it anywhere from every 6 to 8 weeks, and we'll use it in all different kinds of variations. But the one variation stays true, and that is it's a narrower grip exercise because we've already made it a lower range of motion movement due to the fact we're stopping on the elbows versus the chest. So don't make it even a shorter range of motion by going too wide. I don't consider the floor press a chest builder. It's much more of a massive arm builder for massive mid-range and lockout. So I think that when used correctly, the floor press can be used as a badass ability to develop really good technique on the normal bench press when used every once in a while.